Guys, welcome back to Southern Extreme TV. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on my channel today, doing a long-awaited review on my end specifically for the SIG Cross in 6.5 Creedmoor. So thanks for tuning into the channel today, guys. I am really excited about this review, mainly because I've been around this rifle a little bit over the last probably 6 to 7 months. I've seen a Guffey shooting it a little bit. I've never actually got to shoot it at all, but just the picking it up and feeling it, I was super excited to get it in my hands and just see what this rifle is capable of doing. So a little bit about the SIG Cross. It is a short action frame, so I believe they make it in 6.5 Creedmoor, and they also make it in 308. They do have several other series of the Cross, which I think they have a Cross Magnum, which is more their long action, like 300 Win Mags, 7 PRCs, those type of rounds. But this gun right here specifically is a 6.5 Creedmoor. It's got a stainless barrel threaded on the end, which is really nice. And this gun is a awesome, I'm gonna call it kind of a hybrid rifle. It's got that AR feel to it. It's got an AR grip, so you can swap this grip out, put different grips on it. If you have a specific AR style grip that you're used to running, you can put that on this firearm, which is a very big deal. It's got your full length M-LOK rail up here on the end, so obviously you can see we've got the Fat Boy Arca plate added onto the bottom of it, and we're working it with this Fat Boy tripod today. And I really like this because, you know, when we go and we travel out of state where maybe we're not allowed to use a semi-auto firearm, you know, we've been running semi-autos, especially for the predator hunting side of the channel, for a very long time. So being able to pick up a bolt gun that still has that same fit and finish that an AR does just makes us feel a little more at home. It's a little more comfortable to shoot. Plus we get to add our battery packs and our lasers and all that type stuff out here on this handguard, which is really nice. Another thing that is fantastic about this firearm is it does have a folding stock, which is a very big deal. Now, the one thing I will say about the folding stock is it is a little tricky on getting it to fold and unfold, which I believe SIG has now corrected this, and they've done a different style of the action to actually fold this stock over. But when the stock folds, it is a really nice compact rifle that is really nice for taking on trips. Maybe you're backpacking in, and I think that's a huge benefit, especially in the 6.5 Creed and the 308. If you're going to be using it for deer hunting, this would be a great rifle to backpack into some of those higher elevation places, whether you're shooting mule deer, antelope, you know, whatever it may be, white-tailed deer. This would be a great rifle for that. But we've been utilizing this rifle over the last couple of months, mainly for predator hunting. And I've been absolutely blown away with the weight of this rifle, the weight of it, and the way that it just shoulders and functions. It's been fantastic to kind of learn and get used to figuring out. So today we're going to do an accuracy test of it. Just right off the bat, you know, everything about it seems really good. I like it. It's got an ambidextrous safety. It's got a 2-stage trigger, which is really nice. I like a 2-stage trigger. And you can run AR magazines, which is a very big deal. I like that a lot. It runs the AICS mags. So I've got the P mag right here, and I've got it loaded up with some 6.5 Creedmoor ammo. Oh, and the backside, I forgot to mention your buttstock. You do have everything is customizable. You got your length of pull adjustments, and you got your comb height adjustments, which is a big deal. So if you're running, you know, a larger optic like what we're going to be using today is the Athlon 4.5 by 30 by 56 Eris ETR. So this is a big scope, this big profile scope. Being able to raise that comb height to where I can get really comfortable on this rifle is a big deal. It's just going to make it feel more like that custom firearm whenever you shoulder it. So really excited about it. The action on this thing is one of the smoothest, cleanest, easiest actions of any rifle that I've ran. And the fact that this gun MSRP is for under $2,000 blows my mind. When you look at this gun and you feel this gun, you immediately think you're probably spending north of $2,000. That $2,200 to $2,600 price point is kind of what I had in my mind. But you know, I think you can find these guns for around anywhere from $14.99 to $16.99, depending on if you find one on sale or who's selling it. But you know, $15 to $16 to $1,700 is where you can find this rifle. I will say the only negative thing that I have about this gun is everything about the gun is proprietary to SIG. So you can't take, for example, you can't take this handguard off, or you can't take the action and the barrel off and put it in another chassis system. This gun is built specifically to be a cross, whereas if you have a more of a custom built firearm with a, say, a chassis, you can take that barrel and that action off and swap it in and out of different chassis situations depending on what you might be hunting. This rifle doesn't have that feature, but I don't think it's that big of a deal, mainly because they give you so many features on this one specific gun. There's not really a huge need to swap everything out. They do offer the short actions in the regular cross. They do offer it in a camouflage pattern, which I think is a really good looking firearm. This one is solid black. I would probably, if I was going to be using this rifle for deer hunting purposes, I would want that camouflage feature, just that way I don't look like a black blob up there in a tree or sitting on the ground moving around. Just gives you a little extra camouflage and maneuverability being on the ground and in tight shooting situations. But with this being mainly a coyote hunting and nighttime hunting rig, or for using in a ground blind for deer hunting, the black was a really good option. So well, let's go ahead and jump into the accuracy portion of it. Today we're going to be using the 1776 140 grain tipped Game King. If y'all have seen any of the videos that I've been doing in the past of this bullet, I've been getting some fantastic groups out of this bullet, out of the 140 grain too. And this bullet's pushing almost 2,800 foot per second muzzle velocity. I don't have a chronograph right now. I wish I got one coming in the future. So I'm hoping that we can actually start testing and seeing exactly what we're going to be getting out of these bullets muzzle velocity wise. But I'm super excited to test this stuff and see exactly how it's going to group. I do need to bore sight this gun real quick. So once we get this thing bore sighted, we'll swap over to the second angle camera and we'll put some rounds down range, and let's see what this thing can do on paper. All right, let's get this party started. I'm gonna get my tripod adjusted here. So like I mentioned earlier, we're shooting off the Fat Boy tripod. This is the tripod that we use while we're coyote hunting, and I really like it. It holds really steady, and I think it's a fantastic tripod. I'm just getting this comb height adjusted just a little bit. It was up just a touch too high. Yeah, that's way better there. Okay, so we are bore sighted. We're going to shoot hopefully just 1 or 2 rounds at that dead center target and get this thing somewhat close to bullseye, and then we're going to shoot 4 different 3-round groups. So all right, so first off, the action loading is really comfortable, and you'll notice this bolt knob, the throw is a little more aggressive. It sticks out closer to a 90-degree angle off of the receiver, which is a little different than the majority of the bolt guns you see on the market, which I like because I feel like this gun is designed to have really fast follow-up shots and to be a really quick, maneuverable type of firearm, especially out in the coyote woods, where if you need to get a follow-up shot, having that bolt throw at a 90-degree angle right there really makes it easy to work this action. So let's go. First shot right here. We're locked and loaded. Ambidextrous safety is really nice. First shot, dead center. Let's just see where we're at. Okay, so we're on paper, so that's good. Really nice ejection on the action, so I like that a lot. So it looks like we're about 1.5 inches low. So let's go. We're gonna move her up just a smidge, right there maybe, and then we are to the left a pretty good bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the left. So we need to move it right. Let's see what this will do. Okay. Let's go another round downrange, dead center. See where this one hits. Okay, so probably just a little too much. Let's Still needs to come up about 1 inch. And then we need to move it, we shot right, we need to move it back left about 1 inch. So let's see here. Let's see what that does. All right, one more shot, dead center. So touch high, make a little adjustment there, 2 clicks. Okay, so we are all set and good to go. Let's crank out a 3-shot group on that top left target, and let's see what we can do. Let's go right here. Come on, see what type of group is we can get. Top left target. Okay, so top edge. I'm okay with that. Remember, we are not going for quite dead bullseye. We're just looking at how this gun will group, because if this daytime scope is staying on here, we can micro adjust it down to where we're hitting exactly where we want. But if we're at the top edge of the bullseye, that's okay. So there's the first shot. Let's go shot number 2. So not quite touching. Not quite. We need to load up. So there's 1, 2, 3. We'll put 4 in there because that'll get us through the next grouping. So not quite. Holes are not quite cutting each other, but they're pretty close. That's probably a little over a 1/2 inch, probably 3/4 of an inch right there. So let's go third shot right here and see what we can get. There we go. Okay, so I can live with that. That's a very, very good group. Very, very good group. That's definitely sub MOA. You're probably looking 3/4 MOA right there. Maybe a hair better, might be a touch better, but I would say it's definitely 3/4 MOA. We're gonna give it just a minute, let this barrel cool off, because that's 6 rounds, kind of quick, and I just want to not just burn it up real quick, but just kind of give it some time in between. I will say the shooting on this, you can tell that this rifle is a lighter firearm, because there's a lot more. It doesn't kick by any stretch. I don't want to, lead y'all wrong on there, but it jumps. It jumps around a lot more so than if you were to have a heavier rifle, which is why I do kind of like a heavier firearm whenever you are coyote hunting sometimes, because those follow-up shots are a lot easier if your muzzle's not jumping as hard. So that's a real good thing for a heavier gun, but it's not terrible on this firearm. You can just tell that it's a light firearm, so you've got a little bit of muzzle jump. All right, let's go top right. Go 3-shot group and see what we can do. First shot went really, really well, so let's go top right. So walking on me a little bit there, or I pulled. Could have been the shooter. All right, shot number 2. One more shot. So those are touching. Okay. So that's not a bad group. That's just where the scope is zeroed in at. It's kind of on that, probably a 1/2 inch to the right and 1/2 inch high. It's not far off where those first ones were at. Definitely the group opened up a little bit more from the first one. A little bit of gap in between the holes there. So that's probably going to be an MOA group. I doubt it's going to be sub MOA, but it's not more than MOA. It's going to be 1 inch at the absolute most. So let's let this thing cool down just a minute. Put some more 1776 ammo in there, and we'll shoot those last 2 groups and see what we can get. All right, guys. Last 2 groups. So, like it didn't. There we go. Didn't have the magazine seated all the way. It was a user error. So the number 1 group went really well. Number 2 group is so-so. I mean, it's just MOA. It's not nothing to write home about, I don't guess. But we're gonna go 2 more groups, bottom left and bottom right. And let's see how tight we can get these right here. Okay. It's kind of that right edge, you know, 1/2 inch right, 1/2 inch up. That's about how we've been tracking. So that's just where that's where I got the scope zeroed right now. Let's go another round. Threw that one a little bit. Hopefully that wasn't me. Touch to the right. Now let's go one more shot. So about MOA right there as well. I'm gonna shoot one more. I'm gonna do a 4-round group right there, and then we'll do a 4-round group on the last one as well, and just see what this does. Yeah, so stacking right there with them ones. That one that's up a little bit higher, that could be me. That could have been just one that I threw. I'm gonna load 4 in here because there's a chance that I muff one of these on the last groupings. I hope I don't, but there's a chance of it. So let's go bottom right, the last group. See what we can do. Let's go one more, just because those last 2 are touching. Oh, I pulled it. No, I didn't. Yeah, I'm okay with that. 100% thought I pulled that, but I did not. So, that right there is not bad, not terrible. Sweet, sweet shooting gun, man. I'm talking the action is super. You can see how fast you can work that action, which is really nice. Super sweet, super smooth little gun. Let's go down and get this target and take a look at it. Well, what a sweet shooting little rifle, man. Absolutely love this thing with the folding stock, which is a little, like I said, it's a little troublesome to try to get this thing to fold. I wanted to show y'all. You've got to mash the button and then pick up on it, and then it folds and locks down like so, that's somewhat okay. You know, it's not the greatest thing in the world, but you do have the ability to fold it, so there's a positive there. But let's talk about the accuracy. So the first shot, the first 3-round group was definitely the best. I don't even know what, I didn't bring my tape measure out here with me, but that right there is going to be sub MOA. I'm going to say that that's probably half MOA right there. That grouping's a lot better than what I thought it was looking through the scope. That's a really, really good group right there. And then even the second round on the top right, you know, I was saying that that's probably going to be MOA, and it may be. I think it's probably a hair under MOA. I don't know if it's quite 0.75. It's probably in between MOA and 0.75, which is still a really, really good group. But obviously we know that the gun is capable of doing better, because the first group that I shot is probably 0.5 to 0.75 or 5.8, somewhere in that ballpark. Down here on the bottom left, I had that one flyer kind of up and high to the right, which I kind of had a feeling that was me, just because that's such a outlier from some of the other rounds that I'd shot ain't a word. The next 3, or I guess the number 1 and then the 3 and 4, basically they're just all holes are cutting. There's just one big hole on a sheet of paper. So all 3 of those bullet holes are touching, but the problem is they're on a perfect horizontal line, which hurts your grouping average. So that one's probably gonna be MOA if I was a betting man, but you know, if I could have brought that one just a little bit tighter, like a triangle, it probably would have made that group a lot better, more like that group number 1. But nonetheless, those bullets are all right there together. And then the group number 4, I shot 4 rounds, and I need to go back and look in the video because just off the naked eye, I can't tell if I know I put 2 holes touching on the left, this one bullet off to the right hand side, but then that 4th shot that I made, I don't know if it went into the same hole as the first, I guess the number 1 and the number 3, or if it went into the same hole as the number 2 did. So obviously you guys probably seen it on the video by now. I just don't know. I don't know what it did, but this is a really good representation, I feel like, of what this rifle is capable of. You know, I think the rifle's capable of 0.5 MOA. I think the shooter has to do his job. I think the ammunition has to do its job. I wouldn't necessarily say that this gun loves this ammo. I mean, it does. Don't get me wrong, the ammo is sub MOA, so I can't say that it doesn't like it. I just feel like I have seen groups out of this gun specifically with a 129 grain that is a little bit better than what this one is. But you know, that just goes into load development and testing the rifle and shooting the rifle and just getting used to it, because again, the bulk of the rifles that I do accuracy reviews on, I've had them for quite some time. I've shot them a bunch. I know how they feel. This is the first time I've ever shot this rifle. This is the first groupings I've ever done out of this rifle and the first ammo I've ever tested out of it. So I think that these groups could actually be better if I had more time to spend with the rifle, figure out a bullet that it really, really likes. And again, I'm knocking that, and the first group is basically 0.5 MOA, which is stupid. So I mean, I'm knocking the gun a little bit, but I shouldn't be, because it's an accurate rifle and it shoots really good. The only negative that I've got with it is obviously the folding stock is a little on the funky side of how you get this thing to come up. You gotta apply a pretty good bit of pressure to get it to come up and lock. And then the other negative is kind of a love-hate. It's such a lightweight rifle that you get a lot of muzzle jump. So, and what I mean by that, for those of you that don't know, is when you shoot, you don't get a lot of lateral movement this way into your shoulder. You get more of a vertical jump this way, and what that causes is, obviously, if your barrel's moving, your scope is moving, and it makes it hard to stay on target for follow-up shots, because what happens is when you shoot and you jump up, you have to take some time to get back oriented in the direction of your target, pick your target back up, and then get a follow-up shot on. That's the only negative I got, but you are gonna that whenever you get a lightweight rifle. When you get a lightweight, short-barreled rifle, you're going to see that you're going to get muzzle jump, typically. And it probably would be more so if the suppressor was off of this rifle. That's the only 2 things that I've really got about it. Other than that, I think they hit an absolute home run with this thing. The trigger is really, really nice. It's a good 2-stage trigger. It's a little on the thin side, so for those of you that really like to be precise about where that trigger is at on your finger pad, you are going to really like this trigger. I've hunted with some rifles and shot some rifles where the trigger is really fat and wide, and it's hard to sometimes get your trigger placement on your finger at the exact place every single time. With this one, that's not the case. This trigger is really thin, and it's got a really good break to it, which I'm a big fan of. And then I can't say enough about the action. The action is really, really nice. There's literally no slop whatsoever on this backside whenever you go forward. A lot of rifles that I've tested in this price range, whenever you work that action back and you try to go forward, a lot of times this can get bound up because there's a little bit of a play in that bolt. This gun doesn't have that, so that's a big deal when you're trying to operate this firearm as fast as humanly possible to get follow-up shots. That's a big deal. So I think they killed it on the action. I think they killed it on the safety and the trigger. Everything else on the gun is awesome, and I think you guys are going to enjoy it. Looking for something that's a little on the, I'm gonna call it kind of a hybrid. It's not necessarily an AR, obviously, because it's a bolt gun, but it's got that AR feel. It's a bolt gun that wants to be an AR rifle, which is really, really cool. Yeah, customization with this stock and questions about this rifle, I'll do them in the comment section. Just drop a comment down below. And if you are new to Southern Extreme TV, make sure you go and hit that subscribe button, because I'm trying to grow this channel to 100,000 subs, and every click gets me a little bit closer. This channel does a lot more than gun reviews. We do a lot of hunting: deer hunting, turkey hunting, coyote hunting, you know, gun reviews, scope reviews. We do a little bit of everything on this channel. So hopefully y'all enjoy it, and hopefully I earned a couple of subscribers with this video. And I will see y'all on the next episode.